Alright, a new video type for you today. We're going to do a new series and it is about what I have read. So we're going to try and sprinkle in some news and some little things off the internet, what people are saying and if anything's interesting, and I'm going to have a read through some of the headlines that are going around at the moment and see if any of them are interesting whatsoever. The first one that we've got up here is a article from Optus Sport in Australia, my home country at the moment, and it is about whether this is the worst Premier League season in Tottenham's history. Now, we finished 15th in 93-94, and but we had 22 teams in the league at that point, so it wasn't really the worst. The 97-98 and 03-04 seasons where we finished 14th, but the 97-98 season was our lowest points ever. We got 44 points. So, I mean, I'd be surprised if this ended up being our worst season ever, especially if we have a run in the Europa League, if we get a semi-final in a cup and maybe two semi-finals in a cup, for example, whatever the league position is. If it's not top four, doesn't really matter.
It doesn't matter!
Yeah, could be the worst season ever, but if it has nothing else around it, then they're probably, well, in my memory it will be anyway, because I don't remember the 93-94 seasons at all. I was only 3-4 years old. Next one from Tottenham News. Now, this one just says, Jurgen Klopp, Tottenham claim emerges as Postecoglou's sack shouts grow. Now, this one, the headline makes you think like, oh, Jurgen Klopp linked with the Tottenham job? No, absolutely not. It's just Danny Murphy said that if there's no one better than Ange, then we shouldn't sack Ange, pretty much. It's just a nonsense article because, like, yeah, if there is someone better than Ange and we can sign him, sign him.
No shit, Sherlock.
Like, obviously. So, yeah, that one's not very, very interesting at all. Any insight into anything anyway. Next one from The Guardian. Postecoglou says that Spurs need to stick to something to improve the club's outlook. Yeah, I heard him say this one in the press conference like the rest of yous, and he said it wasn't self-serving, but yeah, it felt a little bit self-serving.
I've almost lasted 2 years, Matt. It's pretty good, mate, yeah, for Tottenham. Yeah, we'll say, yeah, so, at some point, I think the club needs to, stick to something. And if I say now, it sounds self-serving, so it defeats the purpose. So maybe not now, but...
But it does seem like that's what the club is going to do anyway. They're going to stick with what they're going, like getting rid of Mourinho, Conte, Nuno. Those ones were try win now managers, and the tactic has seemed to change. So, yeah, it was a bit self-serving, saying that we should stick to something, but we should stick to something really, because the other tactics haven't worked over recent years. Next article is more about a player. So this source comes from To the Lane and Back, and it is about a summer move for a US international in Yunus Musah. Now, he's playing for AC Milan. Like, I watched some of the Americans' highlights, and he's a good dribbler and a good ball carrier, and his stats say that. His stats on like FBref and SofaScore and stuff don't match up to our current midfielders in more attacking roles, like such as Matters and Kulu. It's more attacking than defensive. He has a lot of opportunities, but doesn't score very often. Like, has a really high XG and really low goals scored. So his conversion isn't very good. Passing stats are low. Doesn't seem to fit what we currently need. Like, doesn't just. I mean, I haven't seen him play. Just looking at stats and his highlights and stuff, he's not a bad player. I just don't see how he fits in the needs of the squads or upgrades any position in the squad, really. So it is early on, a long way from the summer, and these ones can be just said with anything, really. It doesn't really end up being anything that's comes to fruition or anything like that. So I feel like this one's just going to pass us by. But if anyone does watch more Serie A than I do and has seen him play, or maybe some of the Americans we have around here could comment on him. But it just doesn't seem to upgrade our squad at the moment. The next source that we have is from Goal. Now, it looks like Tottenham are going to be on tour or a post-season tour to the other side of the world again. Well, same side of the world for me, but for Tottenham, different side of the world. The details haven't been finalised, but it looks like we're playing Newcastle in South Korea. I would have guessed Seoul. The article was funny because it cherry-picked some nonsense from X about how the fans hate it. There's always going to be haters about everything. So, but I went to the Melbourne game against Newcastle last time, and it was great. It's the fifth time I've been able to see Tottenham play live, and two of them were pre-seasons, which was against Newcastle, and I think one was back in 2016, and it was pretty lame, that one, actually. Barely any first teamers started or played. But this time, or the most recent one against Newcastle, it was just never-ending songs, just singing constantly. It was like everyone had the chance to do it, so they were just going to go wild with it and just be crazy with all the songs and that kind of stuff. And the first team was played. It was a great experience for me. I really enjoyed it. My wife took forever walking up to the ground, and I thought we were going to be late, so I got really annoyed with her. But it's just great for other fans from different countries to be able to see the team they support. I don't really know why anyone in England would care. Like, why do you care if a player in the postseason has to fly? Who cares if the club makes money? But yeah, it's good for us over here. I'm probably not going to go to Seoul to see it though. But it'll be good unless someone wants to, maybe. All right, next one. This one is from Tottenham News. We've got a few from Tottenham News. And Brian King has said, Postecoglou has lost the dressing room after Tottenham scenes versus Southampton. As I said, there's a couple one from Tottenham News here, and this one is a bit of a gem because it's just an old scout that has just said, because the Saints are bad, Postecoglou's lost the dressing room. Like, this quote is, Southampton are a poor team, and Spurs did not beat them convincingly as I thought they would have done. It could have been 5 or 6 on another day. It was too easy for Tottenham. That's what he said, but because we didn't win by five goals and just lost the dressing room, like this, even if it is true, these articles do my head in with the clickbait headlines and the fact that nothing to back them up. Like, just a guy saying it. Like, it doesn't mean anything. So yeah, that one annoyed me. I had to spend the time reading through the article to knowing it would come up with this stuff, knowing it would come up with, someone's just said it. I hate that someone just said head articles. But again, this one's from Tottenham News, and different writer this one. But Daniel Levy to sanction Tottenham embarrassment after Calvert-Lewin development. Yeah. Look, I don't want to look stupid here and say that this doesn't happen and then it ends up happening, but I cannot believe it. Like, how? Why would, like, it doesn't fit our system. He doesn't score goals. This article kind of feels like the articles that would have come out in 2012, like times when we signed like Ryan Nelson, things like that. Like, just us being linked or signing to players that are just because they played in the Premier League, we'll just sign them. Like, whether we've been good like the Ndombele times or Celso times, we did seem at that point to have moved on from these just really just lame transfer rumours, and like we're actually linked to decent players. But this one's back to those days when it was just absolute rubbish. Like, we might be linked to Reece Nelson next or something like that. Like, I don't know. But I hope this one doesn't happen because I just don't think he fits in any way.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
Yeah, I just can't see how this one would end up coming about. We've got one from Give Me Sports, and this one is titled Tottenham lead the race to sign phenomenal star. Levy is on a personal mission. Again, it's just rumours early, way before the summer, but like, we can just talk about what's going on. But these problems will probably just drift off into nothingness. But there has been lots of links with Angel Gomez on just coming to us a long time. And this one's from Graham Bailey, coming from 90 Mins, and I just always didn't trust that what he was saying was going to come out with anything reality. So I might be wrong, he might be really accurate, but just from listening to a few things he said, I just don't seem to trust what's coming out of Well, I don't trust many journalists, to be honest, if I'm going to be honest. So he just ran into that category. But Gomez looks like a decent player. Got the second most assists in the league last season, and which is decent behind Dembele. But Ange has said before he doesn't care about assists, so I don't know if that will entice him much.
I'm just not interested in any of that.
I do think we'd have to move on to Bentancur to bring him in. Like, I don't think he's a 6. He's very good on the ball, but a bit below average in his defensive actions. Someone would have to move on for the 24-year-old to come in. As an 8, I think Bentancur would be more effective than he is as a 6 when he plays there. Like, he's good attacking and he's good on the ball, but he's not defensively solid enough to play the 6. So I don't know if moving him on to bring in Gomez would be anything more than a sideways move. He's younger, he's English, so could help in some ways. He's on a free, so it could be good, and we can bring in some money for Bentancur if that was the plan. Or Bissouma, I guess, but that would mean no one to play the 6 at all. So we'd have to probably bring 2, or I guess Archie Gray coming up could be that other number 6, but we definitely still need to bring in a 6 if we brought in Gomez. But yeah, a good player, great player, fits our system, but we just have a plethora
Today, Junior?
of 8s at the moment. So I just don't know if it's worth it other than to make money off the sale of another player and we can bring him on the free, but we play bonuses and stuff like that. Give me sport again. I've come up with another one a bit more interesting. This is Rayan Cherki. I assume it's pronounced Ryan, but just not an Australian accent. He's killing it this season with his assists. Again, not something Ange cares about, but this is a bit different. Cherki is all out attacking. Like, Maddison has better defensive stats than he does. More actions and things like that. But the 21-year-old's attacking stats are incredible. This has definitely been his breakout year, though, but he's 21, so yeah, he looks way older than 21, though. He looks older than me, and I'm haggard. Romano is saying that someone could get Cherki for £25 million, which would be a bargain, but apparently it's a complicated release clause, so we'll see if this gets more legs to dig deeper into that. The attacker is amazing with the ball at his feet. Like, let's be real. He is an excellent passer, good dribbler. Obviously, his assists, he's just laying things on the plate for people. Apparently, it's Uzza United going for them, but it's going to be a lot more than that if it's £25 million. But we'd have to push the boat out to sign him. We'd have to probably offer him a whole bunch of money. Because if he has United as an option with our both current form, then in terms of his career, the eyes that Man United get are just crazy. So he would probably pick United in terms of sponsorship deals outside of that. So we'd have to push the boat out really hard to get him. But unlike Gomez, I think Cherki would slide into our team without losing someone like Matters or Kulu. I think he can play wing, he can play in that attacking midfield spot. I think it just gives us those more options and just another player like Kulu in my eyes. He seems very similar to him. So I think this would be a good one. We'll see if when it comes to the summer that there's something that we're interested in. Because he's playing so well, I kind of feel like this is just a headline that's made up just to get clicks for every team at the moment. We'd probably find Cherki linked to A, B, C, D, E, F, G clubs, and you'd find they all have a link to him. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see if this one happens. But, yeah, great player. Really good in creation. Really good passer. Doesn't put defensive actions in, but I wonder if he'll press. I wonder if he'll put that pressing in. But he would be the sort of player that would fit any manager, I think. So it could be worth as a club signing. All right, next one's from Team Talk, and this one is Tottenham tipped to try and steal 50 million rated attacking talent who tormented Van Dijk. So this is talking about Rodrigo Muniz from Fulham. I have seen Fulham play actually a few times this year. I don't know why I've randomly seen Fulham play a fair bit. He's come off the bench actually a lot of times this year, but his finishing is great. He's a real threat. And then I think if we were to bring him in, though, it would mean Richarlison's gone. Like, it would be Muniz and Solanke up front. And if that's the case, I think it'd be an upgrade. He profiles very similar to Solanke during his time in the Prem. I think his finishing is probably a bit better than Solanke, and he's a bit more clutch. His defensive stats are what stands out for Ange anyway. He's very strong in the air. Like he has a lot of defensive actions, a lot of interceptions, really high in his goals and non-penalty goals as well, and total shots. A good passer, like makes cutting passes, but gives the ball away a bit in his passes too. Doesn't really attempt too many passes as most strikers don't. We're far out from the window again, like it's not one of those ones, but so anyone can make anything up at the moment, and there'll be no consequences if you make anything up either. You could say that anyone's coming to Tottenham, it doesn't really matter. But I do like this one, and the two main strikers being Solanke and Muniz, I think would be good for Spurs with our current setup. I think it would work really well. All right, this one's from Team Talk again, another one from Rob McCarthy. The first one I think he nailed with the Muniz idea, but this one is about Samuele Ricci from Italia, from Torino. Apparently we are looking at £35 million for this midfielder. Now, never heard of him before. No idea. However, so I did look into him a little bit. His highlights are basically just defensive actions, which you would expect from a defensive midfielder. Yeah, his stats are terrible for defending. So like someone may have watched Torino a little bit more than I have, but yeah, looking into him, I think it would be a big miss. Rob's 1 for 1 on his ideas to who's Tottenham time. Right area of the pitch, being the DM, but I just don't think this is the guy. All right, a couple more. This one is that Tottenham are trying to sign Brazilian Wonderkid Ryan. It'd be interesting, there's two Ryans. Probably complete different pronunciation, but oh well. A few Prem teams are going after him. It's hard to get anything other than like what looks like local games of football because of where he is playing. He's playing in Brazil for Vasco da Gama. Never heard of them. However, so I got to Google them, and the first thing that comes up when you Google them is a namesake of a Portuguese explorer from the 15th century. Now, you're not a big club if you're not the first thing that comes up when you Google the name. Just like Young Boys, really. But because of this, like it's hard to sort of evaluate. Seems like a Tottenham deal. Like seems like it would be good. Like he glides with the ball for how big he is. He has a decent touch for his size. Again, coming up on 6'2", 18 years old. Seems like a Tottenham signing, but it seems like every team at the moment is going for those younger guys. So it could be anyone signing, except Arsenal. They only sign defenders, so we don't have to go against them for him. And then last one, we've got Tottenham. This is from Romano. Tottenham position has not changed. Spurs won't sign Timo Werner. And I mean, like, it must have been a slow news day for Romano on this one. Like, after this tweet, he did let us know that Tottenham aren't signing Ndombele again next season. So, like, good stuff from Romano there, really keeping everyone on their toes. All right. That's it. Finished the update for today. Can you please do me a big favor and give this video a like if you want us to keep making more sort of news updates and signings and little sort of tidbits of what's going on around Tottenham. Subscribe to the channel. We're trying to grow this channel as fast as we can and get you all on board just by creating some good stuff, creating some different stuff. Please let us know what you think of any of these little rumours. I'm probably most interested in the Muniz one. I think that would be pretty good for us. But yeah, let me know. And as always, up the Spurs. Bye-bye.